She goes, let's cut the evil out of him. She pulls up, she's done the same thing where she's attached scalpels to her fingers. And it's just like, oh shit, she's got this down. And then Heather jumps into the empty bed, and she's flailing about, and everyone's like, whoa, fucking...
Well, it turns into Freddy, and then she wakes up, and then everyone's like, whoa, Heather.
Hey, crazy lady. Like,
your son is fine, he's in another part of the hospital. You needed sleep.
He's with his babysitter, Julie, right? Fucking crazy
because, like,
bitch.
you needed sleep, so we let you be.
We let you. You looked so peaceful, we didn't want to wake you. So she runs into the fucking place where the girl is. And, oh no.
The nurse is going to give him a needle to help him.
We're not there yet. No, because we have to get to the reference to the original film. So she starts fucking walking, and she's limping because she's already hurt her leg. And then
she's tore up from the floor up by now. Her limb, she's limping, she's got a claw mark.
She bumps into another fucking nurse, and the nurse references the original film by being like, hey, where's your pass? Huh. Screw your pass. I'm like, ha ha ha. Because first film, right? And then...
First movie.
Yeah. And then the doctor's just like, it's all right. And then Julie pops out and she's like, someone wants to say hi to you. And Dylan's all cool. And he's like, good to see you. Because first of all...
Ask where Rex is.
Sorry. That's another thing. In the first time that she took him in, he was going for Rex. Who, at this point, she already believes Freddy's real. And knows that Rex has been stopping it. Why didn't she bring the fucking dinosaur?
Yeah.
What the blue fuck is going on? Why? Because that would be crazy?
Get the security dinosaur in on
this.
Yeah,
like, come on, lady. Even if you are fucking crazy, it doesn't hurt to have his stuffed dinosaur. Anyway, so he's all happy and shit, but then she says, like, hey, don't let him sleep. She's got to go get Rex.
I'm going to go get Rex.
She finally decides to go get Rex, and she's just like, hey, Julie, don't let him sleep. And then this is when...
Which she takes deadly seriously.
Yeah. And then this is when they decide... Hey, bitch, you ain't leaving. This is when the doctor has finally grabbed two security guards and like, come with us, you crazy bitch. And, by the way, Heather's hair has already started to turn gray in the one streak like it did in the film. And then, so, I'm being summoned. So
the security guards grab her, sit her down for a bit, while Julie...
Yeah.
Is making sure...
Yeah, is playing with them and everything's cool. And then... Because this is when the nurses play bullshit.
Where they play good cop, bad cop, or bad cop, bad cop?
I don't know. So they're just like, hey, we're cool. We all good? Yeah, no, everything's fine. Like, and the nurse is like... Julie's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we're going to give him something to sleep. And she goes, no, you're not. His mother says he stays awake. And... Then she turns to the other one and goes, do it. And they stab the kid. I'm like, lawsuit all day long.
Also, where did you get the second syringe?
I mean, I guess she had it in her hand or something like that, but I'm like, lawsuit. Just lawsuit for days.
And then Julie. Fucking Mike Tyson, the nurse. Just left hook. Boom, down.
My favorite thing, though, is the second nurse's reaction. It's not, hey, what the fuck? She literally goes... Hey, you can't do that.
Then they have a fucking standoff with syringes. Like, you know what's in that one? I have no idea. Do you know what's in this one?
Or what happened to you when I stick you with it? And I will. And literally goes, ah! It scares the other nurse. And then, so Julie is barring shit down, and then trying to keep Dylan awake.
Hey, little shaky. Hey,
hey.
This side of, give him a little bit of a paintbrush.
Couple taps, hey, motherfucker. And trying. And then, where are we now?
Freddy.
Okay, so Freddy just flat out, because he falls asleep, we're done.
Yeah, blink.
He's blink, we're out. And then Freddy pops up, and again, 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
And he just goes, Julie, and then Freddy stabs, she lifts up in the air, and at this point, they're still keeping Heather, and they're like, hey, bitch, you're clearly hurting your kid. And she's like, no. And then this is where we get her standing up and going, I want to see my son right now. I want to take him out of here because you're all assholes. I'm like, all right, give us a minute, whatever. And then cut to Julie being floated. Yeah, Tina. And they finally open the door, and all the nurses see her floating. And it's like, oh, okay. And then they're just like, oh, fuck, and they scream and run. Julie falls down, and then Freddy's talking to Dylan at this point, and she's like, hey, Dylan, ever play Skin the Cat? And the fuck? And Dylan's like, I don't know what to do with this. And then we get Freddy dragging her up the side of the wall to the ceiling, much like the original. She reaches towards Dylan, help me, and he just, Julie, whatever, she falls. He screams for Rex, and then that gets the attention of the doctor, who walks out and just goes, what the fuck's going on here? And there's like, oh, there's the dead body of...
Blood everywhere, dead woman on the floor.
So, clearly we're unhappy. And
Dylan's gone.
Dylan is completely gone, and I do enjoy the fact that the nurse, again... fucking the past nurse tries again to stop Heather, and Heather just elbows her. Just an elbow to the gut.
It's a bad day for this nurse. She gets knocked out, gets elbowed in the gut.
Like, she's not having a good day, but in all fairness, she should stop being an asshole.
Telling the doctor, like, he's a sleepwalker, so he's gone.
Because the doctor, no, I love the way she says it, because the doctor's just like, he's heavily sedated, where's he going to go? And she's like, he doesn't need to be awake to get out of here. What? He sleepwalks, you idiot. He's fully capable of walking out of this hospital. She goes, oh. And then that's the last we see of the doctor.
Yep, no more doctor.
Heather limps out, just like, where the fuck's he going to be? Where's he going to be? And she goes, oh my god, I said just across the freeway is home. So he's going across the freeway, and he is. So she drives to the freeway.
So now we're playing Frogger.
We are. This is not a great scene.
No!
This is the scene where shit goes a little off the rails and should have been edited down.
Because it goes way too long.
It does. And so Dylan's walking across the highway, and cars are almost hitting him and everything like that.
Dead immediately, by the way. Like, come on.
And then Freddy starts intervening and grabs a hold of him with a giant claw, because Freddy's in the
only decent
sky.
The only decent effect in this whole scene is him in the sky.
Yeah, that looked great. Him
like the cloud
into the sky.
morphing into him. Yeah, that was the only good. Because her and Dylan with the cars.
Yeah, so
especially
basically
the truck that goes over her. And
we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so the claw grabs a hold of Dylan, and sort of lifts him up in the air and whatever, so he can stop
playing
being
with
killed.
him too.
Yeah, just keeping him not dying.
Truck.
Yeah, and then so she starts running, be like, Freddy, let him go, take me, blah blah blah. And then this is where she's running in traffic and is not nearly as good at it as Dylan is. Because she's fucking causing all kinds of accidents. Then a tractor trailer fucking skids. The trailer sort of goes sideways. She randomly ducks under it. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't look good. And then she runs towards the thing, and there's like a shit ton of Freddys come out. And I found out that that's basically everybody on the crew that wasn't doing something at that point.
Here's a mask?
In a Freddy outfit, yeah. So... she runs and then tries to catch him, and, nothing happens. She goes home. She's called John at this point to go to the house. Because apparently now
she makes it across the freeway.
Yeah, they're best friends. So she's called John like, hey, get to the house. And then she goes to her house. The door's open. She runs in. John's there. And it's like, hey. She's like, we're Dylan. He's like, he's right there. He's fine. Everything's cool. She goes to hug him. And they're talking back and forth. And then all of a sudden, he calls her Nancy. And she goes, why are you calling me Nancy, John? Why are you calling me John, Nancy? So she sort of clicks what's going on. She sees that he's now wearing the cop.
Well, they leave the house, and immediately he's in the
cop
outfit from the first movie.
And he's got, he's got
clothes
the badge.
changed too?
Not yet.
No,
not until she accepts it.
Right.
So they're talking, and he's just like, she goes, I know who did it. Fred Krueger did it. And he goes, yeah, sure, like he did in the original. And then she's sort of like, I gotta, he's basically saying, like, would you knock it off before? Because he says, like, I don't want you to make him nuts like your mother, and, like, it's in our family. He's going the exact opposite of what he said before.
See, it's weird because it's established now that he's no longer John Saxon, he's John Thompson.
Donald Thompson,
lieutenant or whatever.
Yes.
But he's still referencing the fact that she still has a kid.
Yeah, but he only says it once.
Right.
And he doesn't say
but you
your
know what
kid.
I mean?
Like, I know, I think the same thing, but he doesn't say your kid, he just says that kid.
That kid.
Yeah.
So,
he goes the exact opposite of like, well, you don't want them to be crazy, just like we had your mother and all this shit. I'm like, so he's going the exact opposite. And he said, just get some rest, Nancy. And she says, he says, I love you, sweetheart. And then she says, I love you too, Daddy. And then cut to full back, and she's wearing the pajamas from the original. So clearly, she's got this.
And then when she enters the house, it's the front.
Yeah, it's the nightmare house. She sees that there's pills on the ground,
like breadcrumbs,
the sleeping pills, like the breadcrumbs that they said in the thing. And so she's like, "Oh, he's leading me away." And by the way, when she says, I love you too, Daddy, Freddy gets out of the bed and fucking starts walking out. And I'm like, well, that was pointless because he's not going to be there. But that's cool.
I think it's like she's fully accepted that this is the first movie or whatever, that she's Nancy and that's Dawn. Yeah. So he's now in the real world like, you've accepted me. Haha.
Exactly. So she now goes... So she now goes to Dylan's bed. She realizes what's up because of the scene earlier. So she crawls underneath the covers, and it's a long fucking hallway. She slides in, and she goes down and down and down, and then she falls into what I can only describe as the boiler room in hell.
Yep.
Which works for
Falls
Freddy.
Down like the waterfall, like out of a pipe down the waterfall into the boiler room.
Very Greek tragedy type looking place. And then, she's in and she's like,
well there's columns and everything too.
Yeah, so I think that was definitely where they were going with that.
So she gets up and I think she hears Dylan in the back, like, Mommy, Mom, like the whole like, oh Dylan, I'm coming for you.
She runs in, finds
the script. Reads that everything that is happening is written down.
My thought would be, wouldn't you just cut to the end?
Yeah.
Like, just
how
take
do I fucking...
how do I do it? Okay, gotcha, go. Okay, let's go. Let's do this.
Okay, cool. I beat him that way? Spoilers.
Yeah.
But no.
She doesn't do that.
She has a fucking wrestling match with Freddy. And...
So she plays around with Freddy a bit, and then and he's also chasing Dylan around in an attempt to give more of because she gets knocked out pretty fucking quick.
Oh yeah, he
knocks her the fuck out. Now, in the original script, there was no more with her.
Yeah.
She helps.
Oh, okay.
She helps Dylan close the fucking gate, and that's it. The tongue thing was added later on. They were like, you know what? Let's add some more.
He put more or less.
He put more or less. Yeah, but they were like, it should be Nancy, so let's do some more. In an all-male crew, wrapping a fake tongue around a girl. At one point in time, Wes had to be like, all right, guys, enough.
Enough with the tongue, guys.
Yeah, because it's just, there's too much comedy in that. Let's face it. So...
Yeah, this whole last bit, I will say the effects are a bit questionable.
They are, but some of them were not expected.
Two almost comedic effects.
Some of them were not intended to be there. Again, the tongue thing looks like shit because it was added so late.
Even the big mouth thing.
The big mouth, although that was a practical effect.
No,
I think it looks good.
Impressive, but still a little comedic.
A little bit, but that I think was their attempt. I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah,
I think they weren't going for horrifying. I think they were going for weird.
Like strange, like
out
there.
Yeah.
Because he runs into an oven.
Yeah.
Basically, and Freddy goes in and he can't because he's too big.
Well,
so
basically,
he's like
so he stretches his arm out, and that doesn't work. And then he wraps the tongue around.
Well, no, Nancy's now up.
Yeah, she gets up and she starts pushing him.
So he's on the other side, basically turns around.
Like, what the fuck? And then puts the tongue wraps around her. And then Dylan grabs a knife. And
he climbs through, and he's being stopped by a snake. But he gets by the snake very gingerly.
And finds a knife. And then sees the tongue and grabs the tongue, and the tongue's moving, and he starts... stabby. We literally get this fucking... the violin strings from Psycho.
Yeah.
Ree, ree, ree. And finally cuts it, and then Freddy sort of fork tongues himself by pulling his tongue up. And that's where that effect looked so bad, because it wasn't originally there.
Comes off of Nancy, they push him in, close the door.
Literally Hansel and Gretel. And he's the witch.
They turn the oven way up to 11.
Yeah, and he melts and turns into the demon we're supposed to see, which is also a extra head you can add to the action figures. That was a good effect. Yes, that looked great.
That was
good. And then he's done, and they get they see that shit's about to blow up, so they jump into the water, and then they fall out of the bed, and they're there. They're home, and the script is there. So just like, oh, it's over. With a little blurb from Wes that's just like, I knew you would do it. Thank you for having the guts to play Nancy one more time. Regards, Wes. And
then she immediately calls Wes and goes, hey, asshole, you could have told me how this fucking thing ended. It would have saved a lot of fucking time.
I do find it funny that he's just like giving this lovely letter and then just goes, regards. But that's because that's how Wes Craven writes every single letter.
Regards?
There are actual letters in that Nightmare on Elm Street book that I read to be prepared for the first one, where it's just like, I love you for doing this, and thank you so much, and you mean the world to me, and all this stuff, and then it just, every one of them ends with, regards, Wes. So I'm like, oh, at least he did write that.
He's a fancy boy.
Yeah, he wrote that.
So
and then
the movie ends with her reading the script.
He's like, "Will you read it to me?"
Yeah.
How are you gonna read the part where your dad dies?
No, kid, we're gonna get some fucking sleep.